Jared versus Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams take on Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars live from Wembley Stadium. I hope a lot of you guys get up early for this one, like I for sure am going to be. Very excited for this matchup. A pair of very good 4-2 teams taking each other on in that inter-conference battle. This is going to be fun because of the quality of play we can expect from both of these sides. Los Angeles Rams to start, they are known for what is one of the best defensive fronts in all of the National Football League, led by who I mentioned in the beginning, Jared Verse, but it's not just him. Colby Turner, Byron Young, these guys get after the quarterback, and they are also good in stopping the run. And behind that, all arguably been playing some of the best linebacker in the NFL, Nate Landman. So apparently instead of Landman, everybody's supposed to be calling him Late Landman. I guess that's what we're going to do. That's what I'll do for now until it changes after further ado. Now, I got to mention someone that is not available for this game, besides someone for the Rams we'll get to in a second. He's maybe been even better than Nate Landman, is Devin Lloyd. He with the calf will not be playing against the Rams. That is a massive loss because of the production from the tight end position that the Rams have had this season. They've got like a core of 4 of them that they work with, and they're really dynamic in the way that they utilize a bunch of 11, 12 personnel rotating their tight ends. Now, again, I did mention the specific player, Puka Nacua, who's been arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL for the first part of the season. He will not likely be playing. Now, I'm recording this video on Wednesday. He hasn't practiced, and so I got to come out here and make the assumption. I don't think it's too forthright to say that he will not be out there competing. The ankle injury didn't look good, as well as they've got the bye week after this one because of the traveling overseas, so wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if he is not out there. That is a really large miss. Remember that this is a guy that has been catching over 80% of the targets that have been thrown his way. Mainly meaning he catches everything. Really was looking forward to seeing him go against Travis Hunter. Instead, we're going to be getting a matchup to see about him. But again, we have to remember that there's been a bit of a shifting now. There's Newsome in Jacksonville now. I love the way that Tyson Campbell had been playing in the earlier part of the season. People that don't watch the Jaguars and how they operate as a defense, they don't really talk as much about, they should, as what that front 4, that pass rush looks like. And I like the guy in Josh Hines-Allen to actually have a pretty decent day. The Rams have not been spectacular at protecting Matthew Stafford this season. At times, they've been letting some pressure on him. Only gave up 2 sacks last week. Could have been 1 or 2. Stafford's always been very good at navigating in the pocket, getting the football out on time, but they didn't run the ball all that well against Baltimore. It was actually, frankly, one of arguably the best performance. They pounded Cleveland without, I don't think Quinshawn Judkins was playing for Cleveland that day, but then they did a good job in slowing down Kyron Williams and Blake Corum and the Rams rushing attack, and so that led to a little bit more production from multiple guys, right? Kyron out of the backfield, Tyler Higbee, Davante Adams. So this is the game where Davante Adams will be the feature point going up against that dynamic defensive back room, and what they'll be even more so leaning on is Jacksonville is making sure to get pressure on Matthew Stafford. Now that they don't have to worry about an elite wide receiver duo without Puka Nacua, they can double Davante Adams and make someone else beat him. Instead, you double Puka, you've got to deal with one-on-one to Davante Adams now, and that's where you get in a lot of trouble. Now, this Jaguars front can get after the quarterback. They've been doing a great job of that all season long. I was shocked, first of all, that they had that many tackles for loss and had that much production getting in the backfield, but only wound up, I think, getting Sam Darnold down 1 time on the game, if I'm not mistaken. They've been getting good penetration from up front in the middle. Eric Armstead, the former rival of the Rams, they probably remember this guy being a dominating force a couple of years ago for San Francisco. He's been an awesome acquisition. Kind of changed the way that the middle of that defense looked. Everyone wants to talk about Hines-Allen. I'm more than happy to do that. I've been a huge fan of Trayvon Walker. He's been so, not belittled's the right word, but sort of just slid under the rug because Aiden Hutchinson's turned into such a great player. People are just being a bit negative about Trayvon Walker coming off of the injury. So I need Trayvon Walker to have a big day. Get pressure on Matthew Stafford. It will be very important for him to get pressure on Stafford throughout the day. Can't give him time to throw. But again, when there are defenses, you absolutely have to take in that when there's not certain players on the field, it is time to take advantage of that. I'm looking at a guy in Aluakon in the middle of this defense. It is his responsibility to shut down those Rams tight ends. He will have the responsibility throughout the day of dropping back into coverage on a Tyler Higbee, on a Ferguson, on a Whittington when they get their opportunities. And John McVay loves to try and give it to him, or a Blake Corum, Kyron Williams out of the backfield. The Sean McVay offense is one of the trickiest in the league because the amount of motion that they use going under center, and usually they're picking up 5 yards of carry on the ground, so they're in balanced 2nd and 5. Do you know it's a run? Do I know it's a run? Does anyone know it's going to be run or pass? They're extremely balanced and trying to keep it basically even. That's what those Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Mike McDonald, when his offense was operating well, that's what those offenses want to do. They want to be extremely balanced, pounding the football first, running it, and then having the play action to gash defenses off of that. Let's talk a little bit about Trevor Lawrence, because he had a good day overall. If you were to look at his, I guess, he didn't turn the ball over. That's what I wanted to say first. I wanted more out of him in the sense of being able to operate the pocket. He's been coming off of his eyes have been coming down. That's okay. So his eyes have been coming down a little bit too quickly. And when that second read's not there, you haven't really been seeing him working the progression. He's been quick to take off at times on the season, and sort of just immediately the eyes go down and he's not as effective as that first read's there. Ball's out, and he's as talented as anyone inside the pocket when he's comfortable. When he's uncomfortable and starts to feel the rush, that's when you start to see him be inaccurate. Look, Brian Thomas, he doesn't have that drop there. No one's even saying anything negative about the guy, but it's been such a consistent theme for him in his young career that he's dealt with all the drops. He had a very good day. He had close to 100 yards, the touchdown. I think it was 10 targets, 7-8 catches, really effective against the Seattle Seahawks defense. But I expected more from Trevor Lawrence against a team that was out their top corner in Witherspoon without Rick Woolen, their fastest, just bump and run with you all the way down the field kind of guy. And Trevor Lawrence has just been searching for that number 2 wide receiver the whole year, a second guy that will step up, get a large amount of targets. Travis Hunter got the second most targets, but he just wasn't really effective in getting much separation. I thought Seattle was vulnerable in this game. I thought Jacksonville could put up maybe 23, 24 points with all of the injuries that the Seahawks were dealing with, but it just was not the case. Why? Because the amount of pressure Seattle got. Look, they've got 30 sacks on the season. They've been putting pressure on everybody, but 7 sacks given up for this Jacksonville front. That's something that you would have seen in the 2000s or in the early 2010s, this team giving up that many sacks and tackles for loss. A very good run game overall, and they struggled mightily against that Seattle front. Byron Murphy in the middle of that thing, and Leonard Williams, only 3 yards a carry on the day against Seattle. And this can't happen. When Travis Etienne is running downhill and when Trevor Lawrence has time to throw, this Jacksonville Jaguar team can compete with anybody. That's why they had that comeback against the Kansas City Chiefs. The explosive running ability from Trevor Lawrence at times in that game, the huge play by Devin Lloyd, complimentary football. But you're not beating anybody giving up 7 sacks. You're not beating anybody when you're not getting after the quarterback consistently, or when you're only rushing for 60 yards and 3 yards a carry on the game. In this one against LA, remember, this is a front that is just as talented as what Seattle does. That this defense will get after them. They will have to somehow, some way stop number 8. Jared Verse is just ridiculous. He's a freak of nature. He's unstoppable at times, and you have to put you have to put one, but you got to put 2 bodies on him at times, and that frees up number 0 Young off the edge, and having him solo blocked. That's a recipe for disaster. So overall, I do like the Rams in this one, even without Puka Nacua. Them having that type of showing last week in Jacksonville showed me a couple of holes on that offensive line. But not just that, Trevor Lawrence, again, holding onto the football a little bit too long here. The sort of that give take in the sense of that first read's not there. He has to get through his progression quicker, but at times he's also holding on to the football too long and not getting rid of it. I really want to see Trevor continue to develop. It's funny trying to say that. It's what, year 5? Year 6 for like he's been in the league long enough to not hold on the football long enough, and people that talk about quarterbacks often say that sacks are always on the quarterback, no matter the scenario, because you can just about always throw it at somebody's feet, identify where that guy's going to come from, even if it's completely blown up. You used to see Tom Brady just shift his feet, get out of there. Patrick Mahomes find an absurd way to just be a little weasel and get himself out of trouble, or Brett Favre. It's something that Trevor Lawrence doesn't quite possess. Those are great all-timers that we're talking about right there. But Lawrence and under pressure, I think that the Los Angeles Rams get to him early and often, and that LA wins this one, not scoring a ton of points. I think they win it like 26 to 20. It's relatively close, but they have enough to get it done. Maybe a little bit of a wider score margin than that. Jacksonville gets a late score on this one. Rams lean in a little bit more on the run on the day, saying like, okay, down a guy in Puka. This is a talented Jacksonville secondary. Let's lean on the run. Give the football to Kyren 22 times. Give the football to Blake Corum a little bit, which I'm looking for. I've liked what I've seen from Corum. The weird exchange with the in the Niners game with the fumble went through his hands, but I want to see him get like 11, 12 carries, keep the football on the ground. I believe that the quarterback that has less attempts in this game is going to win it, and the team that runs the football better. Not even really talking a lot about third down. The Rams typically are pretty good on that down. They struggled in that first half against Baltimore, then kind of steamrolled them a little bit there in the second half once they got a couple of stops, got the takeaways, had the big stop down by the goal line. This is a Rams team looking for a big win, and I think they get it done. Let me know down below in the comments who you think wins this game. I appreciate you so much for watching. If you have not already, subscribe for more football content with Blitz with Blender in the future, and I will see you next time. Thank you.